Welcome to Fact Frenzy, where we uncover some of life's most fascinating questions. Today, we're diving deep into one of the greatest mysteries of human existence: death. Why do we fear it so much? What's behind that unsettling feeling when we think about the end? And is it possible that understanding death might help us live better, fuller lives? Let's explore the psychology of death, how different cultures view it, and the ways it shapes the way we live. Fact number one: the psychology of death anxiety. Death is inevitable, yet it's a subject most of us try to avoid. Psychologists call this feeling thanatophobia, the fear of death. But why are we so afraid of something that happens to every living being? At its core, the fear of death is driven by the unknown. Human beings have an inherent fear of things they can't understand or control, and death fits that description perfectly. What happens when we die? Will it hurt? Will we simply cease to exist? These questions, unanswered and mysterious, can create a deep sense of anxiety. According to Ernest Becker, an influential cultural anthropologist, humans are unique in that we have the cognitive ability to understand our mortality. We know that one day we will die. Becker argued that much of human behavior, our desires for fame, love, and achievement, stems from our efforts to escape the terror of death. This concept is known as terror management theory. To cope with the fear of death, we create structures of meaning, like religion, culture, or personal legacies, which help us feel as though we'll live on in some way. Fact number two: how different cultures approach death. While death is universal, the way we understand it varies widely from culture to culture. In some societies, death is seen as a natural part of life, while in others it's viewed with fear and trepidation. For example, in Mexico, death is celebrated during the Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos. This vibrant holiday honors the lives of the deceased, with families creating altars, offering food, and sharing stories about their loved ones. Death, in this context, is not something to fear, but rather a continuation of the connection between the living and the dead. In contrast, Western cultures tend to avoid conversations about death. In countries like the United States or the UK, death is often seen as something to be postponed at all costs. Medical advancements aim to extend life, and funerals are typically somber, private affairs. This avoidance of death can intensify the fear, as it becomes something we only confront in moments of personal loss or crisis. In Buddhist cultures, death is viewed as part of a cycle of rebirth. The fear of death is diminished by the belief that death is not the end, but a transition to another life. Meditation practices often involve contemplating death, not to inspire fear, but to gain a deeper understanding of impermanence. By accepting death as inevitable, Buddhists believe we can live more mindfully in the present moment. Fact number three: does knowing the end help us live better? Could the fear of death actually help us live better? Studies in psychology suggest that it might. Mortality salience, the awareness that we will one day die, can motivate people to make more meaningful life choices. When we acknowledge that life is finite, we're often inspired to pursue things that matter most, whether that's spending time with family, traveling the world, or achieving personal goals. Some research shows that people who reflect on their mortality are more likely to engage in altruistic behavior, like helping others, because they want to leave a positive legacy. The concept of a good death also emerges from this understanding. Many people express a desire for a death that is peaceful, dignified, and in the presence of loved ones. Thinking about death can lead to deeper reflection on how we live, encouraging us to prioritize meaningful relationships and experiences rather than material success. In many ways, the fear of death is a reflection of the fear of an unlived life. When we confront our mortality, we may find that we want to live in a way that is aligned with our values, passions, and true selves. Fact number four: the role of legacy and immortality projects. One way humans manage the fear of death is by striving for a sense of immortality. This doesn't mean living forever in a literal sense, but through the impact we leave behind. People seek immortality through their children, art, accomplishments, and contributions to society. Think about how many great works of literature, art, and scientific discovery were born out of a desire to make a lasting mark on the world. We want to be remembered, even after we're gone. These immortality projects, as Becker calls them, help us find purpose in life. They give us a way to transcend our physical limitations by leaving something behind that endures. Whether it's building a company, writing a book, or simply being remembered as a loving parent, these efforts help diminish the anxiety of our inevitable end. Fact number 5: can we overcome the fear of death? While fear of death is deeply ingrained in human psychology, it is possible to change how we think about it. Some people report a profound shift in their attitudes after experiencing a near death experience or spending time in nature. These moments can give individuals a sense of peace and acceptance, helping them view death as a natural part of the cycle of life. Philosophers like the Stoics also believed that contemplating death regularly could lead to a richer life. By remembering that death is always near, they argued, we would be less likely to waste time on trivial matters. Instead, we'd focus on living well, with purpose and integrity. Death is the ultimate mystery, and while the fear of it may always be present, it can also teach us how to live. By reflecting on our mortality, we can gain a deeper appreciation for life, love, and the legacies we leave behind. So perhaps the fear of death isn't something to be avoided, but a reminder to embrace the time we have. That's it for today's episode of Fact Frenzy. If you found this exploration of death and life thought-provoking, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating facts from around the world.